Ulonga tabati yada to ye ko ma da ifa. Inu to ye ko jeun, lo fi bi pa. Ọba tala, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó Èṣù, Ògún Ọya Ọ̀ṣun. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára.
We are entering the palace now.
You are in the palace.
Please follow me so that we got this thing done. I want us to be corporate people.
Lọ́jọ́ tí bàbá fomi ojú fi rárùn lé gbogbo ẹbọ wọn ní kí bàbá yà ṣe bàbá gbẹbọ ńbẹ bàbá rù àyíra oko ọpẹ má má jẹ́ kí n rárùn àyíra oko Ifá má jẹ́ kí n rárùn àjẹ kí n tó lájẹ àyíra oko ọpẹ má má jẹ́ kí n rárùn àyíra oko Ifá má má jẹ́ kí n rárùn aya kí n tó láya àyíra oko ọpẹ má má jẹ́ kí n rárùn àyíra oko Ifá má jẹ́ kí n rárùn ọmọ kí n tó bímọ àríra oko ọpẹ má má jẹ́ kí n rárùn àríra oko Ifá má jẹ́ kí n rárùn ilé kí n tó kọ́lé àríra oko ọpẹ má má jẹ́ kí n rárùn àríra oko Ifá má jẹ́ kí n rárùn ilé gbogbo kí n tó nílé tó gbó àríra oko ọpẹ má má jẹ́ kí n rárùn àríra oko.
This is my leader. Was telling him why your interest in the party, the Nigeria stuff, and unfortunately, my mother here is in charge of the hub where we do the production of party like this.
Yeah, we call it the Adire Odudua because the originality where Adire originated from is actually here in Ile Ife. So yes, we call it the royal fabric of Odudua, so we call it Adire Odudua. So the hub is here in Ife. If you, maybe one of these days before you go back, if you're less busy, would like you to come and visit and see. It's perfect, yes.
You're probably very familiar with Adebayo.
Oh yes,
we
yes.
have an NGO
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, you work together. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, you're wearing batik as well. Yes. And this is batik as well. Yes.
So have a view of the whole place when you live there, go there, see.
Yes, see what we do, and then we never know. Yes. All right, thank you very much, and you're welcome.
If I was you, Babalawo, Babalawo, if I you let me. If I was you, Babalawo, Babalawo, if I you let me. If I was you, Babalawo, Babalawo, if I you let me. If I was you, Babalawo, Babalawo, if I you let me. Iba koda, iba sheda, iba ori, iba rumila, baba ifa. Ẹgbọ́n pẹ̀lẹ́ bọ́ta mo fẹ́ bá fani gbólóhùn. Ifá ológun á sọ̀rọ̀ dayọ̀ ẹlẹ́rìí ìpín lórí ẹni tó tún wọ́n ṣe. Ifá dákun kò dábọ̀ má fi re pé bí ìgbà fi bí péré máa fólòlò fọ́. Ifá ní ìjọ Ifá ní ìṣe ọpẹ́lẹ̀. Ifá lóhùn líre ìrè wọlé dé. Ìjì ó gbé èmi ni ó gbé. Bàbá Ifá gbé mi kórè. Ọ̀yẹ́ kò sí èyí mi ò jẹ́ kún ní kékeré. Ìwé méjì ṣàfihàn mọ́nítọ̀ tún ṣe nìyẹn. Ayé ṣọ́ra ẹ̀ máa fojú di mí. Òdì méjì ibi gíga láyé mi. Ìrọ́sùn méjì orí mi dorí ire. Ọ̀wọ́n rí méjì ọmọ ọ̀la. Ọ̀bàrà méjì ọ̀kànràn méjì òkúndà méjì. Ọ̀sá méjì ọ̀sá ẹlẹ́yẹ. Ìkádé méjì ẹ̀dá pẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ayé ire. Fọgbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n ṣọgbọ́n òdúró pọn méjì. Òdúrà méjì ẹ̀gùn kété ẹ̀ má gbé nìyàn. Ìrẹ́kẹ̀ méjì èmi ti gún gẹ̀ẹ́gẹ́. Ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì ẹ̀ ṣọ́wà lọ́wọ́ bínú ẹni ènìyàn. Òfun méjì ẹ̀ ó di dandan ọ̀la máa rewájú. Babaláwo Ifá Ifá ni Elédùmarè.
Àdúrà fún wọn lóde ayọ̀ láyé wọn ti kọ ìfẹ́ ọ̀pẹ sílẹ̀ tí wọ́n láwọn ò ní gbọ́ ti bá mọ́ ọ̀pẹ aládùn ẹ̀yà òkú ìyàwó lọ́wọ́.
Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ́jà rẹ̀ kó má bá wọn ṣe. Kí ni orò ìdílé yìí o? Jára rẹ̀ kó lọ bá wọn ṣe. Ọmọ nílé ò máa rántí ilé mọ́. Many things wey we don throw away nítorí ẹ̀sìn ọmọọba òrònú. Èmi tí mo ti jára mi. Wọ́n parọ́ fáwọn babaláwa. Wọ́n kó gbogbo kan ìní wa. Wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ìlú mọ̀lẹ́ wa wọn ò dá. Bọ́yẹ́ táwọn ni wọ́n wá ká ni wọ́n wá kó lọ. Ajé dem still dey jose us. Olóńkà tàbá ti yàdá tó yẹ kó máa da Ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun lọ́ fi bí pa. Ọbàtálá ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó Èṣù Ògún Ọya Ọ̀ṣun. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ́jà rẹ̀ kó má bá wọn ṣe. Kí ni orò ìdílé yìí o? Jára rẹ̀.
Àwọn ọmọ yín.
Moses bá mi mú ọ lọ sí dining.
Olórí ẹ̀rí àwọn ọmọ yín tí wọ́n wà ní ilẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà wọ́n wá sí ìlú Òṣogbo láti wá ṣe àwọn ìṣẹ̀ṣe kan. Ṣùgbọ́n ìdàgbàsí tó ní wọn ò lè wá láì yọjú sí olórí aládé gbogbo ló bí ìwà tàwa sí ọ̀dọ̀ yìí ẹni tó kó wọn sòdí wá àwọn náà ni olóyè Ògúntóní Akínlànà, àwọn ní Balógun Sango ní Amẹ́ríkà. So àwọn tí wọ́n jọ kọ́ orin nínú wọn láti rí Òrìṣàgbèmí Fábùlùjẹ́. So babaláwo ni wọ́n ní Amẹ́ríkà, àwọn tó ní Jagun Sango l'Amẹ́ríkà. Initiation tí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n wá fún lóṣogbo táwọn fi insist pé lọ́nà àgbọ̀dọ̀ yọjú sí lórí aládé. Bákan náà Adéyínká, ohun tí wọ́n wá padà sọ pẹ̀lú bàbá ni pé àwọn ti wá ilé, wọ́n ti wá ibi kan pé ọmọ Oòduà làwọn, ṣùgbọ́n ìlẹ́jọ́ ọmọ Oòduà nípasẹ̀ kẹ́ mọ́ wá sẹ́ńtẹ̀ kan padà lóṣogbo ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ máa yọjú sí lórí aládé. Wọ́n sì ti fara mọ́, kódà wọ́n tí wàá wá sí Amẹ́ríkà àwọn wá pàdé yín, kódà wọ́n láwọn ní láti ṣe reception fún yín nígbàkúgbà tó bá ti yọjú sí Amẹ́ríkà. Ó jẹ́ káwọn lè dẹ́rùn àpẹnu lórí ìrìnàjò tàbí wa Ṣàngó àdìmọ̀ Ṣàngó hàn yín, Jagun Akíntọ́lá àdìmọ̀ ni wọ́n hàn yín, àyà Jagun Akíntọ́lá àdìmọ̀ wà àti
olùlẹ̀nu Ile Ife ìwé yìí Amítólúlẹ̀ wá fún ọ fi wọ́n mi dáadáa wọ́n gbẹ̀gùn lọ́bì àwọn ẹrù Amítólú nìyẹn àwọn gẹ́gẹ́ Amítólú.
ọmọ ọba àti ìfàgbọ́lá lórúkọ tèmi jẹ́ olóyè ọkẹ́ ìṣẹ́wọ́ ìgbésẹ̀.
Sango lẹ́wọ̀n o ti tẹ̀lé lọ Brazil rí.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sọ́nà létí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá ọ̀rẹ́ mi ni Akínlànà.
Ìgbóná wà l'Amẹ́ríkà.
Arole Oduduwa, Your Imperial Majesty, Supreme Custodian. Very, very happy and surprised that this is happening at this time. It's 70 years, and it's been a dream come true.
Arole Oòduà.
Ayọ̀ ní kókó babaláwo
Wà ní kẹ́sì rálẹ̀.
bá fún tí orí rẹ̀ kò lè dáhùn sí. Wọ́n ní kí iná bọ̀rí kí orí rẹ̀ lè dáhùn sí ohun tó ń ṣe. Ọjọ́ tí iná bọ̀rí lórí iná bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbé iná. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ orí fi dáhùn sí èmi o. Ẹ̀dá mi dáhùn sí èmi o. Orí agbe ògbé agbe tó fi jọba nílé aró. Orí àlùkò ògbé àlùkò àlùkò jọba ní kòsó. Orí mi sọ mí dọ̀ba. Ẹ̀dá mi sọ mí dọ̀ba. Orí lórí màmá jẹ́. Orí lórí máa jẹ́. Orí lórí màmá jẹ́. Orí lórí máa jẹ́. Orí lórí màmá jẹ́. Orí lórí máa jẹ́. Orí lórí màmá jẹ́. Orílẹ̀-èdè fìlà Abuja. Orílẹ̀-èdè fìlà Abuja. Orí ló mọ bí ẹsẹ̀ ń lé. Àjọrìn ni àmọ́rí olówó. Orí mi gbèmí ṣe mí lólówó. Orí ló ṣe mí tó fi dáadé o. Orí ló ṣe mí tó fi tẹ̀gbá ìlẹ̀kẹ̀. Orí ò bá pa ní ọba kan lè pa ní. Orí ò bá pè ní ta ló tún fẹ́ pè ní orí bí gbé mi débi re orí bí orí lórí màmá jẹ́ Orí lórí máa jẹ́, orí lórí máa jẹ́, orí lórí máa jẹ́, orí máa jẹ́, máa jẹ́, orí lórí máa jẹ́, orí lórí máa jẹ́. Oh, orí mi á pèsè, orí olówó. Under the nothing.
Máa pè.
Let me start from. So let me start from this video. See, this video was launched or unveiled in the year 1937 by the then king. Who happened to be the 49th Ooni of Ife, and who also doubled as at that time as a political leader, a very strong political leader in Nigeria, and later became governor. Governor in Nigeria. He was the first African indigenous governor of Nigeria. The office he held simultaneously with the kingship here, leaving him to be the strongest king in Africa forever. You can't match that achievement.
Right.
You know, Dublin as king and head of government as well.
And his name was
Ooni of Ile Ife. I'm going to show you his picture. Now, so far, 50. Before the present king, the current king, 50 kings had ruled this kingdom in the past. Starting from Oduduwa, we get to him, then succeeded by Oba Ile's son, Alaimere, succeeded by, one after the other. And the current one is the 51st. Now, one of the predecessors, okay, is represented by this image, known as Oba Ilefe. Obogbodirin. Obogbodirin means somebody who lived for too long, so that he didn't want to die, and he nearly metamorphosed to a kind of iron object. Okay, in fact, the people here had to rebel against him. Those who are tired of his reign, those who are also princes, they rebelled against him and exiled him not just from the throne, but also out of the town. He had to go and settle down somewhere and created another kingdom. He reigned for about 2,000 years. Okay? He lived and reigned for about 2,000 years. You may want to wonder the scientific justification for that. But in the Bible, okay, Christians will believe that Methuselah lived for about 950 years. So you have so many miracles in the mysterious existence of human beings in the Quran. It's only when it comes to ours in Africa, they criticize scientifically.
yes.
Okay, they will find the impossibility for it. Okay, it was during the esoteric era when the world was dominated by superhuman beings. They were not just ordinary human beings, they were superhuman beings. So anything mysteriously was possible. So he lived and reigned for about 2,000 years. Like I said, people got tired of that long reign, and he was rebelled against to leave the throne. So now, these are just representation of what you have in Ife as mineral precious stones. Okay, we have them in Ife abundant. Now in Ife here, in Ife, as you know, thank God, thank God.
Sharp.
These are just few of the deities, you know, among those 101 that God sent to the world, that was settled. Yeah. So now here, you know, the world has existed in 3 eras, 3 dynasties. One dynasty, first dynasty was terminated by God with flood, and that era was called Ife Odaye. It got terminated with flood, and only few people that survived that turbulence, rain turbulence. Only few people that survived the rain turbulence, alongside Lua, Orisha Lua, came down from the hilltop where they had gone to, you know, for refuge, and then established the second era of Ife. Now, let's just read the summary. Ife Odaye was the first Ife created by Olodumare, and it was occupied by supernatural beings. You know, this era was started by 401 superhuman beings.
Right.
And of course, the era grew in population to the level of their, you know, unpalatable insubordination to God, and Olodumare had to terminate there. Now, in ending that war, he sent one of his Iromoles to them, with name Lua. And Iromole warned him prophetically that Olodumare has asked me to tell you that he was coming to terminate the war. Only few of you who comply with this prophecy will survive. Several millions of them didn't believe him. Only few did, and it was only those few, alongside with him, that survived. And they established this second era called Ife Oyilagu. Ife Odaye simply means Ife of the first settlers. Ife of those who first occupied the world. That's the meaning of Ife Odaye. Okay, that's the meaning of Ife Odaye. Okay, Ife simply means expansion. You know it. So that's the name given to us, you know, as a people. Now, the first land of expansion was known as land of expansion belonging to the first settlers of the world. That's the meaning of Ife Odaye. Okay, and like I saw there, the first Ife called Ife Odaye came to an end as a result of the great flood that eroded the surface of the earth. The survivors of this Ife were the ones who battled the second era, Ife Oyilagu. And what's the meaning of Ife Oyilagu? Like I told you, Ife is a land of expansion. That's the meaning of Ife, expansion. Now, the first is Ife Odaye, Ife, the first settlers of the world, people that first created, who are 401 Iromoles in number, you know. And the second era was not Ife Oyilagu, Ife of the survivors of the turbulence. Oyilagu simply means survive, Oyilagu. Survivors, those that survived the flood turbulence. Do you get it? The rain turbulence. So they battled this era, and after several thousands of years, there was also need for them to expand further. And so they came up with that policy, expansionist policy, you know, to migrate to various parts of the world. And that era now gave birth to this era of Ife. Ife Akanlubebe simply means Ife, that create other kingdom. Ife kingdom, the kingdom creating other kingdom. That's the meaning of Akanlubebe, you know, creating other kingdom. Do you get it? Yes. So, and this, of course, the emergence of the different versions of languages that started towards the end of the second battle Ife. Okay, those who speak the mother language gathered and formed this preset of Ife. Now, people started moving en masse out of Ife, and languages were changes from group to group. Okay, all right. Okay, those who have similarity in language will form a group. They will consult Oracle, and they will be directed where to go. All right. Those that will go to Oyo will go to Oyo. Those that will go to Eba will go to Eba. Those that will go to Ekiti. That was how all of them, left Ife to settle in their various abodes, which they still occupy today. So, in the history of the world, started from here, we have experienced 3 dynasties: Ife Udayi, Ife Ile Ife, Ife Akonbebe. Now, I said earlier that the present Oni is the 51st Oni of Ife. And when you are talking of this succession, you are talking of the 3rd era, which is Ife Akonbebe, okay, which also pioneered by Oduduwa himself. Don't forget that Oduduwa and some of these people were deities, were spiritual, super spiritual beings. So they could function both physical and spiritually. Alright? So when it was raining the other time, several of all of them didn't die. They disappeared. Okay? They only disappeared. So at every commencement of new era, they were reappearing because they were not giving back to like you and I. So their case was very much different. Yes, ma'am. So that was why you see them. You always see them among the. So Oduduwa became the first king, and he was succeeded by Osongongo King, who came from the lineage of Oranfe.
Okay.
Oranfe is the god of fire, and I think Sango also belongs to Oranfe. Yes, Sango belongs to Oranfe.
Oranfe belongs to Sango.
Sango belongs to Oranfe. Okay, because Oranfe was the one among those 401, not Sango. You had Oranfe, you had Ogun, you had Oduduwa, you had Orunmila. Among those 401, you have Kori, you have Osun, you have several of them, you have Agemo, you have all of them. You have many. Okay? Sango is a descendant of Oranfe. And that was why you saw spirituality of fire emanating from his mouth. He took it from Oranfe. Because Oranfe was the one sent by Oduduwa. Was the one sent by Oduduwa to be in charge of fire and thunder. Fire and storm and lightning and what have you. So this man, Osongongo King, was a descendant of Oranfe who took the throne after Oduduwa. If you hear any story saying that when Oduduwa passed, the position of ownership have always been very conventional, right from the world. It's not something that can just come and speak of.
Lane came into the discussion in the car.
It's not something you are just. He has never been freely available. You must compete for it. You get it. So at the exit of Oduduwa, Oranfe, don't forget that Oduduwa and Oranfe are contemporaries. Okay? So Oduduwa only happened to be lucky to be chosen as the leader. Okay? And so when he left, he could not be expressly succeeded by his children because he was not the only owner of that throne. Do you get it? He was there, Oranfe was there, Obatala was there, Ogun was there. So when he left, one of the children of Oranfe, Osongongo, who is the father of the person, who is the founder of Igbo, Olugbo, Ilaje in Ondo State. This is the progenitor of Ilaje in Ondo State. And that's why Olugbo will be saying that they also own Ife. You may have read in the news at one point when Olugbo was challenging the leadership of saying that his father was king in Ife before his own father. So he was referring to this man, Obamako, who happened to just be in charge of Oranfe. Okay. Now he was succeeded by Ogun. Ogun also ruled here. Okay. Like you see, these four are contemporaries. These four, they are powerful people. So they were taking the position one after the other. Okay. As at that time, they had not made that arrangement to ensure to mandate the kingmakers electing only the. There were no princes at that time because it was an exchange of power among the powerful people. So before Oduduwa left, he gave it to Osogobamaki, he gave it to Ogun. Ogun gave it to Obalufon. Obalufon was also one of them. And that was the man I said was exiled the other time, who lived for 2,000 years. This is the man. And now, when Obalufon left, his own son took over. And then Oromio disagreed. Oromio, this man, is a descendant of this man. So, and he protested that having waited and allowed you people to be exchanging power among yourselves, how can you, Alaiburi, now take this throne after your father? Even when my father left, we have not been able. I said, okay. So he now waged war from Oyo because as at the time this one was ruling, he was the Alaafin of Oyo at the same time. He was king in Oyo. This was King Ooni of Ife. He was Alaafin of Oyo. But when he saw that this man was king, he left Oyo for Ife and overthrown this man. So that was the first coup d'etat. The white people didn't teach us anything about coup d'etat. We had known it here. This man he became king. In fact, let me tell you, he was, I don't know, he was the only king only that was not installed properly. He took the throne by force. And the protest was that your father just left and you are taking over. What about my own lineage? So he saw it as a kind of injustice, perpetrated by the kingmakers. So he came in the woman and what they call palace coup. And he took over. So he exiled this man. This man went out to form his own several kingdoms, including a father, including Oludo, So, and then he reigned. So he reigned as the sixth Ooni of this era, of this third era. After him, these are their children. They are not supernatural beings like these four. These are just, like you and I, but very powerful too. Very, very powerful. And these are children of Oromio. It was Oromio when that came that now saw that strategy of establishing a generational dynasty. And he started with his own children, particularly from him. These are his children. These 1, 2, 3, 4 from here. These are his own children, direct children. So he ensured that his dynasty was going to rule Ife forever. Do you get it? So most of the Ooni that you have seen here, most of them are direct lineage of Ooni. Because ever since he established this, their children too have been coming one after the other. They have been rotating it, until today. You may have heard of a woman who ruled Ife as an Ooni. This woman ruled Ife as Ooni Luwo, and this is the mother of Adekola Telu, the Oluwo of Uwo. This is the mother. Adekola, who is the progenitor of Uwo. It was this woman who gave crown to her son to have his own kingdom. And that's what you know today as Oluwo. Have you heard of Oluwo? This is the progenitor of Oluwo. And that's why Oluwo will always tell you that it's a direct prince of the palace. It's very correct. It's a direct prince here, very, very correct. But it was his mother, not his father. That was his father is among the high chiefs in Ife of Balogun. They are members of the council.
Sorry?
It doesn't function alone. It's a council of leaders. That is father of Odu, who of course married the queen, married the woman king. So, and like I said, most of these kings you see are descendants of Ooni. Ooni that first came with the tactics of establishing succession plan for his own children, and he planned it only for his own children, and he achieved it, even in Ancestral. So, this man, Junior Lopela, is an uncle to this man. Both of them are forefathers of the present owner. He derived his right to royalty from these two.
Sorry, sir.
That is the king today. That right was derived from these two. Yeah. So now.
What years did they
they are, I think around 17 something.
17 something.
This was a nephew. This was a nephew to this. When it was the turn of this man to become king, he rejected it, and so his nephew was picked. Now his nephew didn't reign for so long; he died, and this man reconsidered the invitation and took the leadership. Because they went back to him to re-invite him, and then he now reconsidered. That was why he succeeded his own younger one, because he would have been the king initially. So, and this is the great-grandfather of the present owner. He was succeeded by this man, who is the grandfather of Sijuade. Who is the grandfather of? Do you know Sijuade? So this is the grandfather of this. Okay, who reigned between 1889 and 1910. Between 1889 and 1910. So between 1889 and 1910, he reigned, and then gave the baton to this man. This man didn't reign because he died on the day he was to be coronated. After Ipebi, having spent like 3 months in Ipebi, he died on the morning of his supposed coronation, because he had contested the throne with this man. Okay, and of course, this was weightier than him, very weightier and more powerful. But he had his street popularity. He was loved by the masses. He was a gentleman, very benevolent to people. Though this one was very wealthy, but he was feared. He was seen like a kind of, would be tyranny, So they didn't want him. They gave it to Adekola, and this man vowed never to witness this man to reign, and he didn't reign. So when they now wanted to succeed him, the kingmakers were forced to trace him to where he was and begged him to come and succeed his one-time rival. So that was how he succeeded his one-time rival. And this one now reigned for 20 years between 1910 and 1930. And this one gave back to a man who gave back to my mother. He gave back to Prince Oyedele, who gave back to Princess Adetun, and Adetun gave back to me. So, and this man was succeeded by Adelemi that I told you the other time, who combined constitutional leadership with traditional leadership. He reigned as Ooni and he also simultaneously reigned as governor of Western Region. Very powerful. And he was succeeded after having reigned for 50 years and died in 1980. He was succeeded by this man, who might not be politically strong but stupendously rich. And he was the one who actually brought glamour to royalty in Nigeria. He was the one who actually made royalty, you know, enviable to everybody because he was very glamorous. He had the courage that was so glamorous.
That was his personality.
Oh shit!
Very charismatic.
He was very charismatic, very rich, very sociable, and he was well connected globally. In his 35 years of reign, his private secretary, he had 5 private secretaries at different times. All of them were seconded from Buckingham Palace. White was secretary all through. From 1980 to 2015, he had white British private secretary here in this palace. So you can see his level of connection. He was very close to the Buckingham Palace. Okay. In fact, currently, his former private secretary, as at the time he died, is the current chief of staff at the Lambeth Palace in London, the palace of Archbishop of Canterbury. The Lady Fiona is the name of the chief of staff. She was private secretary here. Courtesy, this one, very powerful, stupendously rich, well connected globally. And then currently, you have our father here, who shall reign for the next 100 years. By God's grace.
Another glamorous and charismatic.
Yes, another who has taken what you are saying, what you are doing and established, who has taken it further in terms of glamour, in terms of quality leadership, in terms of charisma, everything. And you know, so we thank God for them.
Well done.
So, like you are saying, this is just a chamber. It's one of the chambers where we receive and attend to visitors. Just like where you went, we have several chambers like this, like 7 of these around the palace. So, come here, you go.
Are we done?
I think so.
So, I know some So now this represents this replica of Ile. This is not the Ile itself. Because first, you can see where I'm touching it. Okay, I cannot have the audacity to touch the original. That person will shrink immediately and die. Yeah. If you do like this to Ile, you will shrink immediately and die. So you can touch this one, you like, you can take picture with it. It's just to tell you how Ile. And when you are talking about the authority and power of Ile, it's actually not this. It's this and this. This is the Ile, not this. This is the Ile, this is the authority, not this. So, and of course, Ile, yes, Ile is driven by the spirituality of rainbow spirituality, and that's why you see it's colored in rainbow.
So it's like Oshumari.
Oshumari, of course, and that's why whenever Ile wants to come out, okay, there must be Oshumari lightning. Yeah, anytime it come out like this, once Ooni put it on and surface to people, there must be that Oshumari. I think I captured it 1 year.
Even this year.
Now yeah, I captured it on my video. Because every always it comes out once a year, and like I said, the significance was completely that minute it steps out, there must be Oshumari appearing. You must see.
Insurance connection, you said.
No, what I'm saying is that the spirituality of this drives this object. The spirituality of this object of Harry is not actually this cap. It's this and this. This cap without this and this is not as you know. You get my point. The cap. So this Harry without the spirituality of this world is not Harry. I hope I've done little justice.
Any questions? Are you satisfied?
Yes, oh man. Very good, thank you.
Thank you. God bless. I can't be on you, you know.
Maybe 100 years from now.
No. My mother, I'm not from my mother. I'm a case maternal. So the maternal case cannot be I don't know that. So
broke out. Purple hat.
Yeah, give me your number. I'll keep in touch. Open up the conversation.
I want to see number.
I'll get you.
No, the new PK will carry. Now what you look with the
ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́ forsake not your ancestors and praise your.